Hello everyone! I'm here once again to recommend the best hi-fi albums for audiophiles. This is part 5 of my series of videos about this topic. These 5 CDs that I'm presenting on this video are from different musical styles. 2 are great debut albums, 1 from a rock legend, 1 long-awaited album from a band with artistic flair, and 1 classic album. All of them great records because aside from being great sounding, the music are also fantastic. So, here we go. First on the list is Carry Fire by Robert Plant. This is the 11th studio album by rock legend Robert Plant, released in October 2013 by None Such Records. This is a well-produced album produced by the man himself. Every rock fan knows the English rock singer, songwriter, musician, and Led Zeppelin's lead singer. Robert Plant is again working with the band The Sensational Space Shifters. Although he is known for his roaring vocals, his singing on this album is mellow and reflective. To me, his singing style on this album is very engaging and it's perfectly captured by the recording. Some of the songs here, like the opening track, The May Queen, have Eastern-sounding riffs. Most of the tracks are mellow and contained. It's almost like Robert Plant is intentionally staying away from his hard rock style of singing. He adjusted his delivery to suit a certain kind of style that I will describe as atmospheric. The music on this album is mostly bluegrass Americana with thoughtful lyrics and engaging melodies. I like all the songs on this album, but if you want to check out only one song, listen to Season's Song. It's a gentle love song without the usual cliches with wonderful acoustic guitar playing, and I love how Robert Plant sings it. I believe that Robert Plant at this stage is simply just recording an album of songs that he loves. He's not after commercial success, although that is not to say that he is not taking chances. He's just making music that matters to him. Next is the album Tracy Chapman by Tracy Chapman. This is the debut studio album by American singer-songwriter Tracy Chapman, released in April 1988 by Elektra Records. This is a very good sounding disc. Most of the songs here are about political and social causes. This album was such a surprise because the popular music at the time of its release are dance, pop, and heavy metal, while this album has quiet acoustic folk music. In fact, the recording was delayed because they could not find a producer who was interested in going against what was popular at that time. However, SBK executive David Kirshenbaum, who had produced Duran Duran's dance pop hit album Rio, embraced Tracy's desire to keep things simple. He was thinking that people are already willing to listen again to lyrics and to someone who made statements. I know of an audio shop when I was in Singapore that always played the track Give Me One Reason from this album. This is a means to attract people to come in and check out their gears. Audiophiles loves the track Fast Car from this album because of its simple sonics and good engineering made it a favorite test track. Rolling Stone dubbed Fast Car as the 168th best song of all time. Tracy Chapman's presence, voice, and sincerity makes her a true original, and the quality of this recording made this album one of the best from that era. Next on this list is Fear Inoculum by Tool. This is the 5th studio album by American rock band Tool, released on August 2019. That is 13 years after their last album, so there was great anticipation from Tool's fans. The timing of the release of this album is interesting as it was just before the pandemic hits, and the album is about overcoming and expelling fear. The CD package I have includes oversized casebook with 3D graphic cards of exclusive artwork, 56-page bound book with additional artwork plus download card of the video titled Recusant ad infinitum. It seems over the top, but these items goes well with the theme of the album. This album is what music reviewers call progressive rock or progressive metal music. It has complex rhythms, atmospheric intros and outros, and roaring guitars. But even with all that, the sound is clean and refined. That is the best way I can describe it. Tool focuses on building tension along the tracks over long periods. Watch out for the track Tempest, which won the award for Best Metal Performance at the Grammy Awards, as it's very long at 15 minutes and 43 seconds, but it is a very engaging listen. You will need full-range speakers, or I would recommend to add a subwoofer on your setup to fully appreciate this album. Needless to say, crank it up. Next on this list is Come Away With Me by Norah Jones. This is the debut studio album by American recording artist Norah Jones, released on February 2002 by Blue Note Records. Blue Note Records is a well-known and respected jazz label, although I don't think this album is a jazz album. This album is an acoustic album with blues, folk, soul, country, and jazzy music on it that features Norah Jones singing and piano playing, and supported by jazz musicians. The songs here are a breath of fresh air upon its release because there were a lot of youth-oriented music at that time. The songs here have soft singing and are adult contemporary music, which were endearing to older listeners. This is the album that made Norah Jones a star, and the title song was very popular upon its release. You can always hear it on coffee shops. I might have had a listener fatigue, so I did not really appreciate it at that time. But listening to this album after a few years made me realize that it is a great album and a very engaging listen. Her rendition of The Nearness of You and Cold Cold Heart is a must-hear. I liked her sophisticated style yet easygoing music, which I would also describe as warm and relaxing. The songs here are beautifully composed. This album won 2002 Grammy Awards for Album of the Year and Best Pop Vocal Album. There is now a 20th anniversary edition, which was a remastered version released in 2022. And last but not the least is T for the Tillerman by Cat Stevens. This is the fourth studio album by singer-songwriter Cat Stevens, released in November 1970 by A&M Records. I listen to this classic album all the time. The SICD version I have was released by Analog Productions and mastered by George Marino at Sterling Sound. George Marino was an American mastering engineer known for working on rock albums. Analog Productions specializes in manufacture and distribution of reissues of jazz, rock, folk, and classical albums in LP, CDs, and SACDs. Cat Stevens created the artwork on the record's cover, which has now become a classic. He is accompanied only by a three-piece band as he sings songs with introspective lyrics. This is Cat Stevens' most ambitious album. He said that it was a very purest period of his songwriting and recording. His musicians keep it sparse and pure, and he had the feeling that this album is something special, although he didn't know how people will take it. It's no surprise to me that this album has been remastered and released many times, and Audiophiles likes discussing which one is the best version. I think it's a special album that had an enduring appeal. The tracks Father and Son and Wild World are popular, but watch out for the track Miles from Nowhere. I think it's the best sounding track on the album. The sound is very clean, layered, and spacious. I'm pretty sure you will enjoy listening to this album. And that's the 5 CDs of Hifi albums that I would recommend to audiophiles for this video. The great effort by the artists and the engineers to make these great albums make them special and worth listening to. I have a lot more great audiophile albums on CDs that I will share on my next videos, so please subscribe. I hope you will enjoy my selection and discover something new. Let me know your thoughts if you have already listened to these albums. Happy listening.